I covered two papal funerals, Pope Paul VI, Pope John Paul I. I covered the very impressive funeral of Indira Gandhi, the assassinated Indian Prime Minister, which went on for hours and ended in immolation, the ghee, the sandalwood, the ceremony. And I was privileged to attend the funeral of Diana, Princess of Wales, which was an emotionally charged event, ceremony, the like of which I've never experienced before or since. But what we've seen today is on a completely different level, way, way above, on a plane of its own. And it's all a tribute to one woman, and I found it really hard to reconcile the coffin with the personal standard of the monarch, with the short, twinkly blue-eyed woman who I followed around in the train from Upper Saskatchewan to the South Island of New Zealand by way of the Great Hall of the People in Beijing, Kathmandu, Belize, the West Indies. The morning after her death, Thursday the 8th, I had a letter in the Times which I ended by saying, history will know her as Elizabeth the Great. That sparked a big correspondence from people saying, no, Cole's got it wrong again. Of course he has. It's Elizabeth the Kind, Elizabeth the Good, Elizabeth the Wise.
The Faithful, I heard, and all sorts of other ideas.
Well, I know, epithets I would quite like applied to me, but never will be. And that is how people feel about her.
I think the Great works. I think it sticks. I noticed I was walking through Green Park earlier and reading some of the letters and seeing the pictures that kids had drawn, and it's very powerful stuff, some of it. Yeah. But Elizabeth the Great, if you're the man that started that ball rolling, well, it's gathering.
Well, Boris said it the next day in the House of Commons. Look, I've lived here. I was born in London, just a little way from here. Grew up here, went to school here, went to university here, worked here most of my life. I've never seen anything like we've seen today, and I don't believe the people in there have expected it. I mean, in a way, Windsor was much more impressive.
Astonishing.
Because they were closer to the coffin. And those crowds weren't 12 deep, as they were at Harry and Meghan's wedding. They were 20 or 30 deep. And that was quite
for the whole Royal Mile.
And it could have been more. They actually shut the park in the end and said you can't do it.
Oh, did they?
I did. I mean, of course it's stupid to say that an event like this has any good side. Of course it doesn't, because it's mourning for the nation, and it's grief, endless grief for the family. But the Queen has again done us a great favour. When we, at the beginning of this process, when we sat, I think, last Friday, and we spoke about it, and I said that even by the act of dying in Scotland, which it could have been predicted, but nobody knew it was going to happen, and it was totally unexpected, but the fact that she actually died there somehow cemented the union which other unwise people are trying to pick apart. It made the point that this is a dual monarchy. The two nations of Scotland and England joined together on an equal basis, and the first king was a Scot. Of course, we know that. James I, James VI of Scotland. And I think, in a way, her death has actually had hugely positive influence. And I think it will only take a wee bit of time before people realise. Maybe they realise it already. You've been underlining all the great events and what its meaning is. And I think this channel, which I'm just a guest on it, has done a very good job of incorporating the political statecraft which is evolving. And as you said, the Queen evolved during her reign. The monarchy changed for the better, in my view, and it will change again. And people say to me, will Charles be a good king? And I say he's got to be a good king for the health of the House of Windsor and for the future prosperity and peace of this country.